Hello there, welcome to Granada Reports. We're live with the latest across the northwest.
Hello, on the programme this evening.
The police predator, the former officer who used his role in charge of cadets to groom and sexually abuse them. Tonight, Adnan Ali is starting a jail sentence.
The campaign demanding justice and an apology from the Isle of Man government over the Summerland fire, which claimed 50 lives 50 years ago.
If anybody wants to know the extent of what our government really thinks about the victims, they only have to look at this site.
We worked and we toiled.
The sweet voice telling a bittersweet tale. The opera telling the story of the Windrush women on stage tonight.
How's that for a big surprise when Harlem Globetrotter Paul was the high point of every pupil's day?
And the weather is turning hot and humid as we head through this weekend. Could we see a thundery breakdown by the end of the week? I'll have all the details coming up later.
First tonight, they should have been able to trust him, the man responsible for training the next generation of Greater Manchester police officers.
Well, instead, Adnan Ali was grooming some of the young cadets in his care. He sent them explicit messages and photographs, and he sexually abused them.
Today, at Liverpool Crown Court, he was jailed for 5 years for what the judge described as a gross abuse of power. Anna Yosef reports.
To the outside world, Adnan Ali was a respected police officer who'd overcome his own demons to become a mentor to the young people he worked with. He was trusted by the parents and teenagers who enrolled on the cadet scheme he ran for Greater Manchester Police. But the reality was very different. He was a predator who used the scheme as his own grooming playground. Earlier this year, Ali was found guilty of 20 charges, including sexually assaulting 2 teenage girls and a 17-year-old boy. Today, at Liverpool Crown Court, his reputation in tatters, he was jailed for a total of 5 years. Sentencing, the judge said, "It was a gross abuse of power and a gross abuse of trust. Your vanity meant you decided you wanted to be seen as the star of the GMP cadet programme. Your real interest was yourself. The gains for you were your own sexual gratification." Ali had suffered a serious knife injury in 2013 in the line of duty and received a commendation for his bravery.
I was very, very quickly cornered in that room. I thought I was going to die. I could feel the knife on top of my head, and I didn't think I was going to come out alive.
Soon afterwards, he started running the cadet unit, winning local and national awards. This award presented by the then Chief Constable Ian Hopkins. Ali was arrested in 2018 after the force received a complaint he'd been behaving inappropriately towards a 16-year-old boy. His electronic devices were seized and officers found thousands of messages identifying more victims. GMP has apologised and says it's continuing to ensure predatory employees are rooted and booted out. Smiling for the camera for a charity fundraiser, now Ali's behind bars for real. Efforts are being made to ensure that when he does get out of jail, he won't be eligible for his police pension. Anna Yosef, ITV News, Liverpool.
Well, next tonight, a campaign's been launched to demand justice and apologies from the government in the Isle of Man over the Summerland fire 50 years ago.
50 people lost their lives, another 80 were seriously injured when a holiday complex caught fire. It is known as the forgotten disaster, as no one was ever held to account.
Oh, but now people who survived the fire are uniting to change that. The latest now from our Isle of Man reporter Joshua Stokes.
The heat is starting to build up now, and we're a good 100 yards away. It looks as if there's no hope for Summerland, without a shadow of a doubt.
It was a tragedy that remains the worst in Manx history. 50 people died, with many more injured. And while we now know the building was a known fire risk, nobody was held accountable.
When you think about Summerland, its whole concept, its design, its build, its operation were all at fault. There's nothing in that building on that night that would have helped them to get out of there safely.
Now, campaigners are calling on the Manx government to make a formal historical apology for the lack of acknowledgement of the disaster and a public admission that the death by misadventure verdict was inappropriate.
We haven't forgotten the Summerland fire. Never. We've never forgotten it. Our government has forgotten it. If anybody wants to know the extent of what our government really thinks about the victims, they only have to look at this site.
The injustice felt by those who were here that night remains just as strong today. What's left here isn't just a derelict site, but for the survivors, it's a constant reminder of the pain that lingers on. And that's something Jackie has been living with her whole life. At just 13, she lost her mum and best friend in the fire, and recently travelled back to the Isle of Man to meet with the Chief Minister.
I think he did look visibly moved, actually. I think I mentioned things to him that he had not heard before. We have got an active campaign. We have got MP support back in the UK, and we will be campaigning to get the apology for the wrongdoings of the past.
The government will be holding a national service of remembrance for the anniversary, symbolising what they describe as a nation's enduring regret. But campaigners are hoping they go one step further.
The Isle of Man doesn't deserve to have this shadow over it forever, but it's really important that we have the closure so that the cloud can be lifted.
Joshua Stokes, ITV News in the Isle of Man.
We'll have more on that story in the run-up to the anniversary. In other news tonight, the family of a 15-year-old girl who died after being pulled from a river in Tameside have described her as truly beautiful inside and out. Abby Walton died after being pulled from the River Etherow in Broadbottom on June the 14th. Emergency services had been called to the scene following reports of a person in difficulty in the water.
4 terraced houses in Barrow have been severely damaged after a fire. The blaze on Salthouse Road was at one stage declared a major incident by Cumbria Fire Service. Investigations into the cause are now underway.
A 59-year-old man arrested under the Explosives Act has been released by police pending further inquiries. Counter-terror officers were called to Nursery Close in Leyland. A large area was cordoned off as a safety precaution.
A man's been arrested on stalking charges after allegedly entering Lancashire after being given a ban from travelling through the county. The 34-year-old was barred from the area after posting TikTok videos from inside the police cordon during the search for missing mum Nicola Bully. He was detained last Sunday. Nicola went missing in St Michael's in January. Her body was found in the River Wyre 3 weeks later.
Mayor Andy Burnham's announced a combined bus and tram ticket which will make travel in Greater Manchester 20% cheaper. The new London-style integrated transport system called the B Network starts in September. It'll bring the city region's buses under local government control for the first time in 40 years. Train routes will also become the first outside London with contactless pay-as-you-go travel.
Just think how easy it will be to jump off a yellow bus and get on a tram. And when it's all integrated as one ticket, it will be much cheaper for people as well.
Now, we all remember our favourite teachers. Who was yours?
Mr Yates, my English teacher. He's probably the reason I'm here today. It's him to blame for that. Yeah, definitely. It was
well
great.
done, Mr Yates. Thanks for that.
Yeah, what about you?
Great. It was Mrs Stubbs.
Yeah.
It was my English teacher.
There you
Yes,
go,
Merchant Taylors and Crosby. She was amazing.
Yeah,
Thanks, Mrs Stubbs.
Yeah, we really have a lot to thank for our teachers.
We
and a
do.
head teacher from Kendal has been named the North West Primary School Teacher of the Year. Matthew Jessup from Crossthwaite Primary will now progress to the UK finals. He's in with a chance of being crowned Head of the Year.
It's about the school for me. Got fantastic staff, brilliant pupils, superb governors, amazing community support, including our PTA. So yeah, this is nothing to do with me as far as I'm concerned. It's an award for them.
Now for a look at what's coming up on the ITV News at 6:30 with Kamal.
Coming up, guilty of murder, the gunman who shot a policeman in a custody cell. Lewis de Zoyzis smuggled a revolver into a police station following his arrest. Still in handcuffs, he opened fire on Sergeant Matt Ratner. Tonight, the unanimous verdict as the murder trial concludes. Also ahead, bank bosses summoned to Downing Street. What help for borrowers as the mortgage crisis deepens? And all the latest from Glastonbury as the music gets underway. We speak to first-timers Rick Astley and Maisie Peters. Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Oh, look at that, Argamon on the big news tonight.
Yeah, in the big seat.
Go on, Argamon. He'll be great, he will. Well, talking of Rick Astley, Newtley Willow's finest, we've just had this from the man himself who was playing at Glastonbury.
To be honest, I don't know whether many people have clocked me, to be honest. I think everyone's focused on where they're going. Do you know what I mean? Where am I? Where am I going? So we'll see. I think it's going to be interesting tomorrow because obviously I'm on really early. I'm on at 12 o'clock. That audience hasn't come to see me necessarily. Maybe one or two of them have, who knows? But they've come to the festival and they want to get in that spot. So my job is to entertain them for 45 minutes, and that's what I'm going to do whilst enjoying myself.
Took time, didn't they? Well, good to see him there finally.
I'd go for Rick Astley. That's the one thing that got me to Glastonbury. Rick Astley.
Yeah, great.
Possibly.
He's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, more of Rick at 6:30 straight after us.
OK, the Daily Mirror Pride of Britain Awards take place later this year once again, and we're looking for your help to find a fantastic fundraiser to represent Granada Reports at the ceremony.
Yeah, here's Zoe Muldoon now with how you can get involved.
The Daily Mirror Pride of Britain Awards is one of the biggest events in the showbiz calendar. But it's the real people, not the celebrities, who are the stars of the show. And each year, one fantastic fundraiser gets to represent ITV Granada Reports and attend the awards in London. They're even in with a chance of winning the overall ITV Regional Fundraiser of the Year award. And now we need your help to find this year's ITV Granada Reports winner. So if you'd like to nominate someone to be our regional fundraiser of the year, you can head to our website. That's itv.com/Pride of Britain. You can only nominate individuals and they must be aged 18 years old or over. If you are under the age of 18, please get permission from a parent or guardian before you nominate. The closing date for nominations is Sunday the 6th of August at 11:59 p.m. Full terms and conditions and our privacy notice can be found on our website.
Well, next tonight this week, the nation's been celebrating the 75th anniversary of the arrival in the UK of the Windrush generation.
Yeah, they were the thousands of people from the Caribbean who left their homes and answered the call to come here and work after the end of the Second World War.
Well, tonight in Liverpool, the story of some of those early Windrush passengers is being told on the stage.
Yeah, it's an opera called Women of the Windrush, and here's a glimpse of the show.
Voice, absolutely stunning. Yeah, soprano Nadine Benjamin there.
Well, our entertainment correspondent Caroline Whitmore spoke to the creator, Professor Shirley J. Thompson, OBE, one of the artists chosen by His Majesty King Charles himself to compose music for his coronation service.
Well, yes, I'm here at Liverpool's newest cultural venue, the Tongue Auditorium at the University of Liverpool. Now, you may remember a few weeks ago, this whole auditorium was filled with hundreds of school children, all celebrating the Eurovision Song Contest. But it's a lot quieter this evening, let me tell you. But in about an hour's time, on that very stage, there's going to be a performance of the opera Women of the Windrush. And joining me now is creator and composer, Professor Shirley J. Thompson. Can I call you Shirley, or does it have to be Professor?
Shirley's great. Thank you. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. This is such an amazing space, isn't it, for your opera?
I love it. I love it. I was, of course, here for the launch because my music opened this Tongue Auditorium with the wonderful Sean Lennon, and because his mother Yoko Ono wasn't able to make it. And the first moment I walked in here, I just loved the feeling of the space. It's a really lovely space. And of course, when I was here at Liverpool University, I won't say how many years ago, but we had nothing like this. So it's a dream to come back to Liverpool and to see this wonderful auditorium and all of these facilities. They're really gorgeous.
Yeah, because I was going to say that. Is it nice for you to be back in Liverpool? Because I went to Liverpool Uni as well. So did you. We have something in common. But it is nice coming back to the city, isn't it?
It really is. And the city, there's so much buzzing, isn't it, now? It always was buzzing. I mean, I came here because the Beatles and the music that was here at the time. I mean, I wasn't here in the 60s, but it was really well known for music, and that's really one of the reasons I came here. I came to Liverpool for the city.
Now tell us about your opera, Women of the Windrush, because this tells the story of those women back in the day, doesn't it? And how important is it, do you think, to tell their story?
Yeah, I think it's really critical to tell these stories. I made the film back in 1991 called Women of the Windrush Tell Their Stories. And when I got the opportunity to write the operatic version, I grabbed it because I think there's something about performing live which you don't get with a film. But what I've done with this production is to combine both the film and musical material, which our audience will hear tonight, and hopefully the rest of Merseyside and will hear at some point. But it really is an innovative thing to do in opera, because the form doesn't usually have this way of putting productions together. So it is really very unusual, very exciting, and I want lots of people to come and see it.
Oh, you are a genius. She's an artistic maestro. Goodness me. Good luck with the show this evening.
Thank you so much.
Here at the Tongue Auditorium. Thank you very much. Back to you.
She's a genius, isn't she? Indeed. Time for sport now, and Everton's chairman is staying. Mike.
Yeah, that's right. Not the news everyone was expecting. There was a growing feeling that he was about to step down, but Everton's owner Farhad Moshiri has confirmed Bill Kenwright will stay on in his role as chairman. He says Mr. Kenwright has accepted his request to remain at the club and help them through a period of transition. A number of board members have left their positions this month in the wake of a series of protests by supporters. So, what do they make of the news?
I think Farhad Moshiri's missed the boat here. There was a massive feeling, a massive push from the Everton fans towards the end of the season to not only remove the board, but for Bill Kenwright to step away. And I think Farhad Moshiri could have got a lot of good feeling back into the football club by doing that. Period of transition Farhad Moshiri spoke about, but again, how long is the period of transition? We just don't know. And I think until we get a roadmap of where this football club is going, there'll be uncertainty.
Well, meanwhile, an Everton team is going for glory this weekend. The club's amputee football team is competing in the FA's Disability Cup weekend. They'll take on Portsmouth at St George's Park, the home of England's national teams. But playing for this team brings greater rewards than trophies alone, as Chris Hall has been finding out.
Steve Johnson has won 3 World Cups. That's as many as Pelé, and was once crowned World Footballer of the Year. Now he plays and works for his boyhood club. For him, being an amputee is no hard luck story.
I was playing football in a sports hall in Southport, and some rainwater had got underneath the fire door, and I slipped on the wet floor and went through the glass fire door, you know, the Georgian wire glass, and it cut all the back of my leg. They tried to save it but couldn't. But I always looked at it as a positive, really. You know, since then I've been all over the world playing football, playing volleyball, you know, and if you ask me if you want your leg back, I'd probably say no.
Steve has spent 20 years leading Everton's disability programme and introduced the sport to Dave Tweed, the England captain who last week lifted his country's first trophy for 30 years. The Nations League win included victory over world champions Turkey, whose team attracts crowds of up to 40,000.
Yeah, well, Turkey and Poland, we've helped quite a lot of countries start up their programmes over the years. But Turkey are a fully professional, 2-3 tier league system, all paid, and it makes it very hard to compete against. We're lucky here at Everton that they support us really well. Pan disability has come on massively. Unfortunately, the amputee side of life hasn't quite grown with that. We still struggle to attract players.
This despite reaching the final of the FA Disability Cup, where Dave will hope to repeat his goal-scoring heroics of the 2019 final when they beat Portsmouth 4-1. It's the same opponents tomorrow in a match to showcase the athleticism of amputee football's elite.
The physical fitness that they're in is massive. It's a different sort of technique, so there's a lot of upper body strength. Obviously balancing on your crutches to play, different sort of passes, with the one leg that they've got, using inside and outside of the foot, and just being, used to being, stable on the crutches in order to execute them type of techniques.
Gives a lot of self-confidence and self-belief, and it's a support network as well, so you can talk to other amputees about some of the issues that you're facing and they're facing, kind of thing. And it's also a support mechanism for families as well, so yeah, it's not just about playing the sport, it's about supporting each other.
The Disability Finals weekend also features the partially sighted final between Merseyside Blind and the North West Scorpions. 6 finals in 2 days for sports where trophies aren't the only reward. Chris Hall, ITV News, Liverpool.
How good were the skills on show there? Absolutely incredible. Well, next to some transfer news, and Manchester United are stepping up their efforts to sign England star Mason Mount. It's believed they've submitted a third bid for the Chelsea midfielder, this time of around £55 million. Chelsea have yet to respond. And that is your sport, guys.
Thank you very much, Michael. Now, you're going to really like this next report because you've met this man.
Yeah, definitely. We've told a few tall tales here over the years, and today the tallest man in Britain and the world's biggest basketball player has been in Salford.
He has indeed. Paul Sturgis stands at an incredible 7 feet 7 inches tall, and he spent the day at Earlham Primary School, where he told pupils that being different isn't always easy, but it shouldn't stop you reaching for the stars.
Here's Tim Scott.
4 years in the Harlem Globetrotters, and this no-jump dunk was Paul Sturgis's famous move. Today, though, Paul, all 7'7" of him, was the surprise guest at Earlham Primary School. The children's faces, an absolute picture.
I'm proud to be different. I walk around with my head held high, quite literally. So if we all look around the room, we all look very different, we all sound very different, we all probably come from different backgrounds, but we shouldn't let that affect us. We should always be proud of ourselves. It's nice, it keeps me busy, and obviously it keeps me quite relevant in schools, and it's really, really fun for the children. Obviously you saw how excited they were in the assembly, and if I can impact a couple of kids every school I go to, I feel like I'm doing a good job as well.
Paul is Britain's tallest man. After retiring from basketball, he took up acting, appearing in the likes of Avatar and the Lord of the Rings films. But he loves visiting schools and doing these talks, as well as special basketball sessions for the children.
He's a really nice man and he's extremely tall. Yeah, he's really nice. We've been dribbling and picking up cones and trying to get the most cones, and I think he's a really nice man, and he's very tall, as everyone else has said.
We've seen what a happy event all this is today, Paul, but was there ever a time you were uncomfortable in your skin being so tall?
Not really. I've always embraced being tall. Obviously, when I was in primary school myself, I was obviously as tall as the teachers and that kind of thing. So I've always been very comfortable with who I am and being different. And obviously you have difficult days, people staring at you wherever you go. But like I say, I've done really, really well from being how I am. And you've got to take the good with the bad. And thankfully more good than outweighs the bad. So
just before we go, Paul, could we do the finger trick? Can you do the finger trick with me?
Absolutely.
OK, here we go. This is Tim Scott for ITV News in Earlham.
Genius. Well done, Scotty. Not bad, not bad.
Yeah.
What a lovely man.
Yeah, and a few children with sore necks, I think tonight.
Yes, they'll never forget that. Becky with the weather next.
Have you burnt tea again?
I'm scraping the cooled oil into the bin, not the sink.
Can we eat outside? It's nice.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello there, a very good evening to you. Well, we've been short in supply of sunshine today. It's been rather cloudy out there this afternoon, but there is more in the way of sunshine as we head into the weekend. It will be largely dry, hot and humid, but there's a risk of some thundery downpours as we head into Sunday. The reason for the hot and humid weather is this large area of high pressure across the continent, extending its reach out across the UK for the weekend. But weather fronts moving in from the Atlantic do threaten to bring some thundery downpours as we head into Sunday. And behind those thunderstorms, a change to fresher conditions for the start of next week. Back to the here and now, though, a fairly cloudy end to the day across the region. That cloud thickening at times to bring some outbreaks of rain, turning heavy across the Pennines. Quite a windy night to come as well, particularly across the Isle of Man, where gusts could reach 35 miles per hour. The humidity will build tonight, temperatures not falling much lower than 16 or 17 degrees in our towns and cities, so quite a sticky night for sleeping. So quite a cloudy start to the day on Saturday. That being said, by the afternoon we should see some breaks in that cloud to bring some glimmers of sunshine, and feeling rather hot and humid on Saturday as well. Temperatures much higher than we've seen today, and we could even reach highs of 27 by the afternoon. Looking ahead into Sunday, again a sunny, hot and humid start to the day. This band of showers quickly approaching from the west. They could bring those thunderstorms to end the weekend, so perhaps quite an unsettled end to the week compared to the start of the weekend. But looking ahead into the outlook next week, you can see those temperatures dropping off from 28 all the way down to 19 degrees, so definitely feeling much fresher for the start of the new week.
It's a little bit burnt.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello, summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
The hot and humid weather this weekend is bringing very high levels of pollen across the region. We're currently in grass pollen season at the moment, which is not good news if you suffer from hay fever. Take care.
Thank you, Becky. That's it for this Friday's Granada Report. I think I'm off to go and polish up on my basketball skills now.
I think you should. I think you should.
Let's do it. Have
Give
a good
it a
weekend.
good go.
Bye-bye.
Good night.